Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to show you how to get a nice, beautiful, professional look. In this case, we did the roof, this nice gloss black, using just rattle cans. I'm going to show you guys how to do that and get a nice, professional, beautiful look here. It's very easy, a lot easier than you think. You're going to be able to do this at home. So stay tuned here and be sure to like the video. Alright guys, today we're going to get the best possible job done on painting a car, whether it's your hood, your roof. Today we're doing the roof on any car using just rattle cans. So we're going to need to get started. For some sandpaper, you're going to need some 320, some 500. You're going to need some alcohol. In my case, I'm using Germex because all of it's bought out because of the coronavirus, of course. We got some microfiber cloths. We got some primer. I like to use this primer. It lays down the flattest. You can get all this at Home Depot. Trim and bumper paint, for whatever reason, I like this, and we're doing black, and it always comes out great, and it's super durable. It's for your bumper, of course. And this is your clear coat, obviously. It's going over everything. I also like this brand here, but they were out, so I just got that. Same thing, pretty much. And then we got some plastic drop cloths, of course, and then we got some tape that we're going to get, and we're going to get started here. So all simple hand tools. We're not going to use anything. Obviously, the 2000 grit is going to be for the clear coat down the road, just to make it super, super smooth. And let's get started. So you're going to start out with your 320. It's the more coarse grip. And a little trick here is use a sponge. It's going to even out the pressure used when you sand. And we're just going to be sanding in little circles here, okay? We're sanding the whole thing, so I'm going to put you guys up, and I'll be back. So after sanding, you're going to have a lot of clear coat dust, so you just want to grab a leaf blower, air compressor. I mean, you can even wipe it off with a shop rag, but and now the same thing with the 500 grit, just going in little circles all the way throughout the car. An important note too, you want to tape off right here, just depending where you're doing it. Obviously, if you're doing the hood, you want to tape this seam here. Just tape everything off. That way the sandpaper doesn't scratch it up too much. Alright, so I already blew off all the dust just like the last time. So next step here is to get all this stuff off. Be very careful of leaving any of this stuff on. What I'm going to do is just hit it with hand sanitizer because I have no alcohol. Hit it with a microfiber cloth. Get most of it off. Change microfiber cloths and just keep going. Take your time on this step because you want to make sure that you get all this dust off so it doesn't mess up your paint. So what we're going to do after it's wiped down thoroughly is we're going to take tape. We're going to tape every part we don't want to paint. Okay? We're going to leave everything up a little bit as well. Give it a nice lip. That's when this comes in here. This is cheap. Get it from Home Depot. I recommend getting 2 mil at least. That's just the thickness. That's about as thick as like a grocery bag. You don't want something too chintzy. It's going to flap around everywhere. 9 by 12 should be enough. I got 2 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to unroll this and we're going to tape it all on these, and I'll be back. Alright, so now that everything's taped down, I had to tape everything down pretty securely because it's a little windy today, or tonight rather, so we're ready to get to it. Most important step is the painting part, so we're going to take our time with this one. So what we're going to do, obviously we're going to shake up the can for about 2 minutes. So I want to keep shaking, build up the compression in there. And then what we're going to do is a little bit at a time, okay? So essentially we're going to just, don't worry about coating the car. See how it's a little foggy? It's not all the way thick. That's what you want. So we're just going to go all the way across the car. And I also did one last cleaning, okay, right before. And also when you paint, be sure to never stop. While you're spraying, you want to be moving. So move, spray. Never just hold it in one spot like this. You're going to get a lot of glumps, and you're not going to like that. And like I said, don't worry about coating the car. Right now we just want to get a little primer on there. We're going to do about 3 coats of this, so I'm going to put you up, and I'll be right back. Alright, so a little bit of technical difficulties last night. I couldn't get the paint on thick enough because it was so damn windy. So I actually had to wait till the next day. I got this little card tent here. You don't need one, obviously, if the weather's nice. You can just spray it on. It's going to be no wind. But it came out a little thick, and if it ever does come down a little thick, like it's not smooth, if you run your hand across it, it's not smooth, completely smooth, you're going to have it's almost like sand when you rub against it. You're just going to need to rub that here with some sandpaper, get that down. So now we're ready for the actual paint now, and we're going to be using this trim and bumper paint here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so with our trim and bumper paint, obviously you want to shake this thing for about 2 minutes. Give it a good shake, feel the compression in there. And also while you're doing it as well, you want to take like a rag or a microfiber cloth or whatever you got and wipe the tip of the bottle every 20, 30 seconds just to make sure you're getting a nice stream. So at this part, it's the same thing as the primer. You never hold it down like this. You gotta be moving the whole time. In this first coat here, we're just gonna get a thin layer on it. Say about that. You want to see through it. You don't want to get a real thick layer because the next layers we're gonna be putting over are gonna be a little bit thicker. That way we're gonna get rid of all that orange peel. Okay? So I'll be right back here with you. Alright, so we got the first layer on here now. You can kind of see it's not very thick. You have some bald spots there. Not bald, but almost bald. And then you got other layers a little bit thicker. So it doesn't have to be even. What I'm trying to do here is just get a layer on the car. These next 2 coats, we're going to lay them down thick. I'm not going to waste your time and video all that. You've already seen how to do it. But we're going to layer it pretty thick. So I can kind of give you an example here. So the next 2 coats, we're doing 3 coats total. And you can spray this. I'd probably do it every, give it like 5 minutes to rest. So we do it like this. And we're going to get a nice thick layer on there. Don't worry about the orange peel. That's going to come out. This stuff lays pretty flat. With the clear coat, it's a different story, but so you want it nice and thick like that. You see how it has the orange peel? That's going to actually lay out a little more flat. This trim and bumper paint's kind of heavy, so you don't really have to worry about that. So I'll be back with you once I get the 3rd layer, and then we'll start the clear coat. So you definitely want this wet look here. You don't want any kind of dry spots like when we're doing the first coat. You want it looking completely wet. Like you see in this area, it needs a little bit more there. And then over there, obviously, I haven't done. But you want it all the way wet. That way it lays nice and flat here for your clear coat. All right, our last step is going to be our clear coat. Now, I already started laying a little bit here. Obviously, got the rest of the roof to do. But how I want this to be laid is thick. So on the cans, if you read the back of them, they're always going to say do it thin. Do like 4 coats of thin layers. Me, I lay it on there thick. I've done this a couple of times here, and it always comes out really good. I want it to be thick because I'm going to wet sand it. I'm going to take it down. Because when you do it thin, you're not going to get that orange peel like this. It's going to be a little smoother. But me, honestly, I just want it in there thick. That way I can sand it down, have a nice, thick, smooth layer down the road. So I'm going to make a video on that here in about 2 weeks. You want to let this harden for about 2 weeks. So I'm going to put you up, and I'm going to be back in a few minutes. And just an update on how far a can's going to get you with this clear coat. This is my second coat already. Over here you can see obviously the second coat's laying down. I did all the way around, and then I'm on my second here. Probably about 50% way the second, but like I said, I want about 4 nice thick coats on there. The trim and bumper paint doesn't go as far. I'd probably recommend getting, well, for my hood here, it's an E92 BMW, so that's probably lasted me about 3 cans. So you want about maybe 3 cans for that. And then the primer, honestly, 1 can with the primer. I just want to get a seal on there. That way, the paint has something to adhere to. So that's it for how much you're going to need. So unless you got a shop or a garage you're doing this, or somewhere sealed, you're probably going to get some bugs. Let me show you this. Tweezers is always the best way. Try to do it with my finger, which is a dumb idea. Pull that guy off, and then you can just touch that with a little more clear coat. Like I said, we're going to be sanding this. So it doesn't matter if you got a little dent. Fill that bad boy in right there. Best as you can. Filled in, done. You can sand it, make it all even. That way the light shines on it. So it's a little tip. Grab some tweezers. Don't try and get it with your finger. You're going to mess up your whole job. Also, a little quick side note. So with these runs, this is probably the only one I have in the whole car. I try to fix it with my finger, but it's not going to work. With these, I wouldn't worry too much about them. Like I said, we're putting it on thick. That way when we go over the wet sand, we can smooth everything out. So these little ridges here, we're going to be able to take those down a little bit. Obviously, we're going to get it nice and flat with the rest of the car. So I wouldn't worry too much about those. Don't try and smooth them out with your finger like I did. I mean, you can do it a little bit if you're very careful, if it's a really big ridge like that one was. But other than that, just take your time. And that's it, guys. This is exactly what you want it to look like here. You want it really, really wet. Not too wet that you have those runs that I showed you earlier. But you want it wet. And you're going to have the orange peel, of course. You can see it here. But that's going to be able to take down. And once you take that down here, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to put it in the description. Give me about 2 weeks. And it's going to be clear. So I will take an after picture. And that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. I'll happily answer anything you guys have. Any recommendations or anything like that. So thank you. Have a good one, guys.